Hey traders from around the world, what's going on? My name is Jeremy Alexander Newsome and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Real Life Trading. Our mission is to enrich lives, and the objective of this video is just to give you my thoughts and insights on how to properly and safely invest in medical marijuana, or just simply the marijuana industry itself. Now, I will say this, of course, I know morally there are some traders who are opposed or against to investing in marijuana companies. And hey, that is totally fine. That's your right, that's your objective, that's your obligation. No problem, no stresses at all, right? So for those of you who are interested, or someone who is not opposed or don't have any negative connotations with investing in medical marijuana, here are some of my tips and just thoughts and insights regarding the industry in itself. Number one, it's all about risk. A lot of people who are going into the medical marijuana industry or field or stocks, they're hoping to invest $10,000 and make $1 million, right? That's kind of the goal, the objective, right? I'm gonna put some money in this, I'm gonna crush it, I'm gonna become a millionaire. It's not really that glamorous, trust me on that one. It's not gonna work out that way, right? Your odds of doing that are very similar to buying a lottery ticket and winning huge amounts of money. So it's all about risk. Control your risk. Know how much money you're willing to lose on the trade. Not how much money you're going to invest, but how much money you're going to lose if you're wrong. So let's actually talk about that right now. I'm going to hop into some of the charts and I'll kind of show you really quick what that looks like as far as the math profile and the risk profile of all that. Yeah, so let's talk about that really quick. So again, this is MJNA, one of the most popular, most requested stocks that I get regarding medical marijuana. So let's just really quickly cover as I was mentioning, the risk profiles and how to take the trade. One of the most interesting and easiest ways, I think, to go about this, without even looking at the charts, if you really want to do that, is figure out exactly what the stock is trading for. So in this situation, it's 13 cents, 0.1335. And mathematically, what you could do for this is say, all right, how much money am I going to lose on this trade? How much am I comfortable risking? Just like if you're going into a casino, right? How much money am I cool losing? So let's take that number. Let's say that number is $400. You're saying, all right, I'm totally fine losing $400. You could take the amount of money that the stock is trading at and simply divide it out of 400. So if you take $400 and you divide it by 13.35, so 0.1335, you're going to get 2,996 shares. So if you just round it up to 3,000 shares, you would then mathematically know your risk, right? Because what's the lowest that a stock can go? The absolute lowest a stock can go is 0. So in this situation, if it's going to go bankrupt or totally go out of business, at least then you know your max risk. And this is a huge implement to trading these very risky stocks, at least for right now, in my opinion, is if you want to own them long term, if you want to say, hey, I'm going to buy this, come hell or high water, I'm looking to make some money, this is probably the best risk strategy that you could approach, is say, hey, here's how much money I'm going to lose if I'm wrong. I'm willing to hold it to go to 0. Do not, I would suggest, do not risk your life savings or any amount of money that you're not comfortable with on any of these stocks, because it is not smart, right? Wait for them to become more financially sound. Wait for them to start actually getting into the markets and things getting approved. Wait for them to come on an actual exchange rather than an over-the-counter market. So that's really going to be the absolute, in my personal opinion, easiest way to mathematically define your risk on any medical marijuana or just marijuana stock that you're interested in at all, is take the amount of money you're comfortable with and just divide it by whatever it's trading at right now to give you the max amount of shares that you're going to buy. Potentially for that stock, if it went to 0, you at least have the mathematical fact of how much you're going to lose, worst case scenario. So that's really, in my personal opinion, very, very crucial and key to do in these types of scenarios. Okay, so that's just ticker symbol MJNA, which, as you likely know, is traded OTC, over the counter. Now, most of these stocks are going to be traded OTC, which means that regulation is not their highest priority. They run into a lot of pump and dump schemes. Volume can be very crazy. The bid-ask spreads can be wild. And that's why risk is key, regardless of what it is that you're trading. Now, number two, now this one's kind of the bigger picture perspective as well. But what we have to think about is, what is everyone thinking about and talking about regarding these particular stocks, right? What is everyone doing? In stocks and investing, something you can take with you for the rest of your life. If everyone is doing it and if everyone's talking about it, that's not the direction to go in. So medical marijuana or marijuana stocks in general are very popular right now. Everyone's talking about them. So try to think outside the box on this one, if you will. What are other ways that you can get into the marijuana industry or sector regarding your investments? Are there shipping containers that you could invest in that are shipping the product? Are there hardware companies that are using or selling the sales data point processes to some of these machines? Are there banks that when the federal or if the federal regulations go in, what banks are going to be able to take some of the money from some of these marijuana companies? Or what companies are creating the lights and the fixtures and the electronic components that are used or needed or imperatively installed for these plants to grow in certain industries or in certain areas, you know, in the offices, lighthouses, space, warehouses. I don't really know much about, I don't know anything about growing marijuana. So anyway, whatever fixtures are going to be used, whatever components are going to be used to make these machines or the lamps or the lights, think about what company that's going to be, right? Another way to think about this, and keep in mind, what are the big companies out there right now that are going to see this as an opportunity? And in my opinion, I think the number one place to bet your money on the marijuana field is going to be big tobacco. All right, at some point they might create a joint venture. Joint venture. I could see big tobacco companies like Philip Morris, ticker symbol PM, buying out some of these companies or investing a lot of money in them. Philip Morris has been around forever. And again, if you're opposed to trading tobacco and you want to get into the marijuana industry or the sector, again, I totally understand. Find other ways to do it. But there's a ton of different objectives and things to think about in regards to what type of marijuana sector or investing that you're going to be doing. I personally am going to go the big tobacco route, looking at British American Tobacco or Philip Morris, buying some of these companies. They're blue chip, they're dividends, and they're easily trackable. Number 3, look at the charts, right? You saw me do that earlier with medical marijuana, ticker symbol MJNA. You're going to want to pull up the charts before investing in a company. Figure out what is it visually doing. So when you are taking your risk, you can easily calculate and determine how much money you could potentially lose in your investment. That is huge because there are numerous companies out there that you can invest in, which brings me to number 4. Right in the description box below, I will be linking to some websites and videos and companies and stocks that a lot of people have endorsed or mentioned or talked about, or if I've done some research on these particular stocks and companies, because your objective is do your research. If you want to invest, there's so many new startups. A lot of them are just hemorrhaging money. They have huge cash revenues, but they're just spending an excess amount of money in new developments and new creations and new strings and new laboratories and federal regulation passings and lawyers and bills and things like that. So do your research. It's going to be hard to find a financially and fundamentally sound marijuana company. I get that. But again, make sure that you're just looking at the charts because there is no given guarantees. There's nothing that's just going to go absolutely gangbusters. Buy it now, hold it for 20 years, and you're going to make $1 million. It's just not going to happen. So invest in these smart and risk the amount of money that you're comfortable losing. And really, those are going to be my top 4 biggest takeaways on how to properly and safely invest in the medical marijuana field and industry and sector. If you have any questions about a specific stock and you want my advice and opinion on it, you're welcome to email me, Jeremy@reallifetrading.com. Again, as mentioned earlier, our mission at the company is to enrich lives, and we want to teach people from all around the world how to properly and safely invest in the markets. So, thanks so much for watching. You totally rock. Hope to talk to you soon. And until next time, love life, live life, and trade it.